Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. Zhu Yuanzhang, the founding emperor of the Ming dynasty, led a life full of legendary accomplishments and controversies. Born into poverty, he eventually established the Ming Empire, rising to become a ruler both revered and feared by his people. Renowned for his decisive and forceful character, Zhu maintained his ruthless methods even after consolidating the Ming dynasty. His treatment of court officials was unforgiving, earning him a reputation for brutality in later historical assessments. Political reforms. Historical records show that upon ascending the throne, Zhu Yuanzhang initiated sweeping political reforms to strengthen imperial authority and eliminate local factions and the dominance of powerful ministers. He abolished the chancellery and the central secretariat, concentrating all power in the emperor's hands. At the regional level, he dismantled the provincial administration system and replaced it with a tripartite division of power known as the Three Departments, designed to create mutual checks and balances. To control his officials, he enforced strict laws and showed zero tolerance for corruption among bureaucrats and nobles. Measures of control and punishment. Zhu also launched multiple large-scale, literary inquisitions, to target what he deemed treacherous factions. He relied on the secret police force, the embroidered uniform guard, to establish prisons and interrogate suspects. Even corporal punishment, such as public beatings of officials, became a tool of governance. Although these measures solidified his authority, they left his ministers living in constant fear. Military innovations. In the military domain, Zhu implemented the Weisua system, integrating military organization with land management. Soldiers were responsible for farming and defense, which reduced state expenditures and tightened control over the armed forces. This system helped stabilize borders and internal governance during the early Ming period. Economic reforms. Zhu Yuanzhang also made notable contributions to the economy. He promoted immigration to reclaim wastelands, implemented military and civilian farming systems, and restored agricultural production. By reducing taxes and conducting comprehensive land and population surveys, he gained a clear understanding of the empire's resources. These policies facilitated economic recovery, earning this period the historical recognition of the Reign of Hongwu. Cultural initiatives. Culturally, Zhu Yuanzhang emphasized education and talent cultivation. He established the Imperial Academy and promoted the 8-legged essay examination system to train governance talents. He also strengthened ideological control over the populace through moral education to ensure the supremacy of imperial authority. Foreign policy. Zhu Yuanzhang adopted the policy of stabilizing the interior while repelling external threats, categorizing foreign states as either allies to engage peacefully or potential adversaries to guard against. His non-aggression states policy secured a period of peaceful development for the early Ming dynasty. Legacy of fear and respect. Zhu Yuanzhang's life commanded both fear and respect. Even after his death, his aura of intimidation continued to loom over the nation. Records describe his funeral as grand yet oppressive, with severe punishments for any errors in protocol. On June 24, 1398, Zhu Yuanzhang passed away. As the founding emperor, he wielded immense power during his life and demanded a funeral that reflected the grandeur of his reign. The controversial funeral. His successor, the Crown Prince Zhu Yunwen, faced a daunting task in organizing the funeral. Upon reading Zhu Yuanzhang's will, Zhu Yunwen was troubled by its harsh and unforgiving instructions. However, he realized that failing to comply could jeopardize the legitimacy of his rule. To secure his position, Zhu Yunwen reinforced palace security, creating an atmosphere of tension and severity. According to the history of Ming, Zhu Yuanzhang's will demanded that 46 imperial consorts accompany him in death. Not all consorts willingly accepted this fate. Those who resisted were subjected to the coercive power of the throne. Some were forced to drink poison, while others were hanged with silk ribbons. Even Zhu's favored consorts met tragic ends. With their bodies treated using mercury preservation techniques, a chilling reminder of imperial authority. The tradition of human sacrifice. The practice of human sacrifice has ancient roots, dating back to the Shang dynasty. Among the aristocracy, enslaved individuals were often sacrificed as a symbol of status, with some even volunteering to express loyalty to their masters. However, most instances were coercive and brutal. Over time, the cruelty of human sacrifice led to its decline. By the Qin and Han dynasties, living sacrifices were replaced with symbolic figures, such as the famous terracotta army of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Although the practice faded from history, Zhu Yuanzhang revived it in the Ming dynasty to assert the absolute power of the emperor. As the founding emperor of the Ming dynasty, Zhu Yuanzhang was deeply concerned about the stability of his reign. Through a meticulously staged funeral, he sought to demonstrate to the world that even after his death, he could still wield control over life and death. By doing so, he sent a stern warning to potential rebels: the cost of challenging imperial authority would be unbearably severe. Zhu Yuanzhang's posthumous instructions were not only a means of deterrence but also included an element of protection for his successor, Zhu Yunwan. By showcasing the might and majesty of the royal family, he hoped to clear obstacles for Zhu Yunwan's reign. However, history did not unfold as Zhu Yuanzhang had envisioned. Zhu Yunwan's rule lasted only 4 years before he was overthrown by his uncle, Zhu Di, during the Jingnan campaign. Notably, while the intricate details of Zhu Yuanzhang's funeral remain largely unknown, the procession left the people of Nanjing awestruck. As the final farewell from the royal family, the scale of the funeral was unprecedented, leaving onlookers speechless. When Zhu Yuanzhang's coffin was carried out of the imperial palace, the spectacle witnessed by the citizens left them utterly stunned and speechless for a long time. A long ceremonial procession marched out in perfect order, followed by an astonishing sight: coffin after coffin, a total of 13. Each coffin was impeccably crafted, identical in design, from their colors to their ornaments, making it impossible to distinguish which one held Zhu Yuanzhang's remains. Even the guards carrying the coffins had no knowledge of which contained the emperor's body. Upon leaving the palace, the coffins were divided into 13 groups, each heading in a different direction. At the time, Nanjing had 13 city gates, and each coffin was carried out through a different gate to be buried in separate locations. The exact burial sites, however, remain unknown to this day. It turned out that during his lifetime, Zhu Yuanzhang, who had ruthlessly purged court officials, was deeply worried that his grave might be desecrated after his death. To prevent anyone from discovering his tomb, he orchestrated this elaborate deception. Although Zhu Yuanzhang came from humble beginnings and lacked formal education in his youth, his extraordinary intelligence allowed him to rise from a commoner to become the founding emperor of a dynasty. To ensure the secrecy of his burial site, he devised a clever plan. The bodies of 12 of his consorts were placed in coffins identical to his own and sent out of the palace with ceremonies of the same scale. What the people expected to witness was a display of royal grandeur, but what they saw was a funeral filled with cunning and intrigue. Such a strategy left them both awestruck and chilled. Some historians have remarked that Zhu Yuanzhang was undoubtedly a wise and capable ruler. He led the Han Chinese in reclaiming their homeland, drove the Mongols out of the Central Plains, and worked tirelessly to restore the economy, enabling the Ming dynasty to achieve rapid prosperity. However, he was also known for his harsh methods. In his quest to weaken the power of the chancellors and consolidate imperial authority, he was willing to pay a heavy political price. To him, achieving his objectives was far more important than his own life. This uncompromising leadership style laid a solid foundation for the Ming dynasty but also earned him many enemies in the court and among the populace. Even as emperor, he remained deeply anxious about his peace in the afterlife. Zhu Yuanzhang's intricate arrangements to protect his tomb not only reflected his intelligence but also highlighted that even those in positions of supreme power must bear the consequences of their decisions during their lifetime. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.